Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today, gonna be doing a few things with a couple of my watches. We've got Suunto 9 update to do. We've got a Coros Vertix update to do, and I'm going to be taking questions and hopefully answering some of those questions about both of these watches. If any of you guys are interested in these watches, definitely ask questions. I've been using both of them quite a bit. Right here's the Suunto 9, and focus, and Coros Vertex. Actually, just turning it on again. Hasn't been on very much recently. Haven't been using this watch very much. But yeah, I'll tell you maybe a little bit of why. I've actually filmed a video a couple times about the Coros Vertex and just haven't posted it. Just because, I don't know. I'm really trying to give them a couple more chances with like firmware updates and everything. What's up, C-Town fan? What up? Great goal to run 100 days in a row. Thanks, man. Yeah, for sure. That was the most recent video I posted. 100 days of running in a row. It was a goal that I didn't plan on like ever having. I've never done anything like that. I think in the video I mentioned like the most I've ever ran probably is maybe 4 or 5 days in a row, maybe 7, something like that, but never really did anything like that. And like I said, didn't start out trying to, but it was just something that like once I just ran a couple days in a row and then was kind of like, oh man, what if I ran one whole week every day and then 2 weeks every day? And then what if it was like, and then it got to like a month, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like that would be really cool to do like 100 days. And then just kept going. Was sick a couple times, and that really, when I was sick, I wasn't really like thinking, oh my gosh, I have to run because of this goal of running 100 days in a row or anything like that. But it was just something that I was able to stay motivated through it. And honestly, like one thing that I realized when I was doing this and when I did get sick is when I could get out and go for a run. That's actually like when I felt the best. Like I'd be sitting there, maybe I'd be like at work or something and get home from work and I was just like zapped from the day or whatever. And then I would go out and run, and that like, 45 minutes or hour or whatever when I was running was like the best I felt during the whole day while being sick. So that was like really, really surprising. Did not expect that at all. But that's one thing that I learned through that whole time. But I mean, honestly, it was just like I felt there was a lot of days where I didn't feel like getting up. The biggest thing that I did was get a gym membership. That was the best thing. Just the ability to go to a gym and get on a treadmill and just knock out, the 45 minutes or 5 miles or 8 miles or whatever was on the schedule for that day. It was just, that was the best thing I did. And I made that decision right before Christmas to just get a gym membership and just say, you know what, this year I'm just going to invest the money and I'm going to go for it. And it was awesome because there were so many days that I never would have got up and ran in the ice and snow and everything like that. But Dan Darling, welcome to the live stream. Says, I've got the Coros Apex. Let me know what you think about the Vertix. Awesome. And then also congrats on the 100-day streak, by the way. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for joining. Yeah, if you guys have questions about any of these watches, or I've used a bunch of old Garmin's, like I had the Phoenix 3 and the 910 and the Forerunner 10 or something. So I've gone through a bunch of Garmin's. The Suunto 9 and the Coros Vertix is what I'm using currently. I would love to get my hands on the Phoenix 6, but Garmin's are just so expensive. And yeah, both of these watches, like Suunto actually sent this to me to review, and then Coros gave me like a media discount on this one. So full disclosure there. But honestly, I don't have, I don't know, like I'm not required to say anything. Like Suunto, they haven't even checked in after they sent the watch. They were just like, here. So I'm not required to say anything, not bound by anything like that. I'll be giving you guys my real honest opinions. But yeah, first thing I'm going to see, I'm going to show you guys something. Hopefully this works. Okay. On the screen here, this is the Suunto app. And this is one of the big things that the big knocks that I have against Suunto is that so far you still cannot update wirelessly with your phone. You have to plug it into a computer with a cable. And so that's how it works. Plug it in, and the app should recognize it right away, which is, you know, I mean, it's fine. Like the last update, I think took like 15 or 20 minutes to do this. Software update available. Sync your watch. Yeah, whatever. Update watch anyway. Are you sure you want to update your watch? Yes. That's why I plugged it in. That's the only time I've ever plugged this watch in, is to update it. So there we go. We're just going to let that run and see how long it takes. We're at 7 minutes, so it'll take a while. But yeah, what other questions you guys got? I'm also going to start the Coros, see what happens. So the Coros, this one is a little bit easier to update. You can update with the app, and find the app here. So this is the app right here. And the app is actually really nice. The Coros app is, I'll give them that. Like it's a really good app. This has been so long since I've used this app. It's making me reconnect. I guess this is how you connect it. Pair. So yeah, connecting these the Vertix is not super easy. Like you have to go into the app and go into systems, pair with phone, watch is disconnected with iPhone, pair with a new phone, and then it comes up. It gives you this little like, see if this will focus for you guys. Yeah, it gives you this little QR code, and then the app has this going on. So I'm going to scan it. Bam. Okay, it got it pretty quick. So it says it's pairing, and it's going to start updating as we go. All right, Seatown fan. Oh shoot, sorry. I'm gonna go to this other screen here. Seatown fans. So which watch do you recommend that works well with Strava? Well, both of these watches actually work really well with Strava. Let's see, I'm going through. It's asking me a bunch of questions. Yeah, both these watches work really well with Strava. I haven't had any problems with either of them, aside from the Suunto 9 does take quite a long time for the app to sync over to Strava, but I've never had an issue with it not syncing. I know a lot of people have talked about that online, and that's been kind of like, you know, there's like you'll see trending like Suunto like isn't connecting to Strava, things like that. But I've never had any problems with it like actually not sending my data. So here's what this app looks like right here. This is the Vertix, the Coros app again. And it's just comes up with a message. It says, would you like to update to the current firmware? I'm going to say update now. And it's going. So This actually, Coros usually goes pretty quick. The first time I got this watch, it was I don't even remember when I got it, but a couple months ago, it actually had like maybe 5 or 6 firmware updates that I had to do like right out of the box. Um, and that took quite a while to do. But they do update their firmware. They used to update it like quite a bit. Like a couple months ago, there was a new firmware update every couple weeks. Um, and Yeah, so it's not too bad. It's at 6% now. So if you guys want to time that, we can time that too. But Yeah, so syncing with Strava, I actually have another app that's called Run Gap, and it's like a little red icon with some feet. It's this one. Shoot. This little red icon with the feet right here. Get that in front of my face and it'll focus. Run Gap. Download that. And it costs like, it's like a $5 a year or something subscription. But you can connect it with basically any workout app out there, and it's manual, but you can manually go in and get it to basically send to like Training Peaks or Strava or something else that's maybe like not connecting if you're having any issues with connections. So that's how sometimes I would get frustrated that with Suunto not syncing to Strava like immediately. Like I finish a run and I want to get it up there like real fast. So I just open up Run Gap and get it like synced over real quick. So this is Suunto. We're still updating. It's 60% of the way through or so. And it's been going for like 5 minutes. So it is, I mean, it does take a while. Coros right now is at 21%. So this one's taking a long time too. Wow. All right, but let's just go over a few of the updates. And I have both of these like firmware updates up here. The Suunto update, I don't think it's a whole lot. Like it just says basically that it's going to give some extra Training Peaks metrics to the watch while you are exercising, which is, I don't know, we'll see. That would be kind of cool if it did display your like estimated TSS score. I don't know, that could be kind of cool. Do you guys out there know what TSS scores are and how to use them? Let me know in the chat if you do. TSS scores are training stress scores, and you get those for every workout you do. Training Peaks uses it. Strava has I forget what it's called on Strava, I think it's just called a stress score. And basically everybody does it now, but it kind of like aggregates like all of the data from your workout and basically gives you a score at the end of it to tell you kind of like how hard you were working. And it could be, like 35 or 40 TSS on a really easy day, and up to 100, 120, like during some of my 100 milers. Like it'll be like up over 400 or 500. So here's Suunto. It's just about done updating. We're gonna see the other thing that the other thing that I wanted to mention about Suunto is that something weird happens when they put out an update. All of a sudden, the GPS starts connecting like super slow at the beginning of every run, and I don't know why. If they're updating some sort of I don't even know if it's possible for them to have some sort of connection to like the satellite link. But when you update the firmware that's available out there, like the last couple of times this has happened, the GPS connects like much quicker at the beginning of a workout. And it'll be like run from my house like every day. And as soon as like an update is available, it'll be just like, it'll be like it'll take like 30, 45 seconds sometimes to connect like at my front door, when the day before it was just like connecting immediately. And I thought watches were kind of like that. Like they would remember your most used locations. I don't know. Something weird happens with Suunto though, like when they put out an update. So here we go. It's syncing. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see here. We do have a couple questions. Dan, how are you dealing with race cancellations? Kettle just got moved to September 19th. I saw that. 2 weeks before Hennepin and 2 weeks after Temptation 200K. So that'll be a fun month. What's your race schedule? Yeah. I saw that I saw that Kettle moved, and I don't know, like, this might be kind of an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a huge fan of 100-milers moving their race date. It might be unpopular, but there are a lot of people that base their whole calendar off of either one or maybe 2, 3 races. And there's a lot of people that pick a race like in the early part of the year and the late part of the year. And so now, like, the Kettle moved to September. If you're planning on doing 200s this year and you've already signed up for another one, just like maybe Dan, I don't know if this is the situation that you're in right now, but yeah, all of a sudden maybe you're signed up for 200 milers that are like a week or two apart. And I've done that before last year when I tried to do the Midwest Slam. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Like there's a lot of fall races. And so for some of these early races to push to the fall, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. And I am hoping that Cruel Jewel does not do that. Because Cruel Jewel is supposed to be May 15th. Still have no word on whether or not it's going to be held on May 15th. They're not communicating anything. I really wish the race directors would just come out and say something, because that's like 5.5 weeks away or whatever. It starts on a Friday. So, yeah, if Cruel Jewel gets moved to the fall, and things clear up by then, I'll probably do it still. If they decide to run it in May, there's no way. Like if they somehow find a loophole and get through like government like restrictions and stuff, I'm withdrawing or whatever. I'm not going to run a 100-miler in 6 weeks in this current state that we're in. Let's see. Seatown fan, how do you feel about running outdoors now? I know that there's no reason not to run if running by yourself. More on myself to stay motivated when the race is excited. Yeah, totally agree with that. It's definitely running by yourself is totally fine, as far as I know. I am running by myself basically every day. Actually, the last time I ran with someone was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I run by myself all the time. Yeah, hitting up, just some of the usual routes that I go on, and it's perfectly fine. Like today, I ran midday. It was like maybe 1 o'clock or something, and it was actually really difficult to social distance. There was so many people out, and a lot of people just like did not care. There was a lot of people out walking or running in groups. They like a lot of, so from my house, like there's a lot of like paths that I can take that are, actually like walking or biking paths. They're like 6-7 feet wide. And so in order to properly socially distance, you have to be one person all the way on one side and another person all the way on the other side. And people were just not doing that. Like there was a bunch of people that were walking like side by side and talking, and they would just take up like most of the path. And I would actually, in several situations, I just like got off the path. And I don't know, I'm trying not to be like paranoid about this whole thing, but I'm also trying to be smart and like do my part. If I'm sick, I don't want to get someone else sick, vice versa. But yeah, sidewalks and stuff. If there's someone walking on a sidewalk, I just jump in the road and run in the road for, like 20 or 30 yards or something. And that's not too bad. Like running through neighborhoods, not bad at all. The part that was kind of frustrating was running through campus. There was a ton of people on campus today. Hello. The Vertix just finished. The update is complete. It's reconnecting. But yeah, there was a ton of people on campus today. I don't know why. Big groups of people. And it's just like, the main gathering places were pretty empty. Like Memorial Mall, Fountain and stuff were like pretty empty. But there was just a lot of people walking around like all over the place. Yeah, let's see what else is going on here in the chat. Let's see. Danny says, is it possible the update clears the cache that the device keeps from previous connections to your local satellites? Yeah, maybe. That's a good point. The weird thing is that what I experience is that when a firmware update comes out, I'll like get the notification, and in between the time that I got that notification and doing the update is when the watch takes forever to connect. And then someone else online actually told me that they were having the same situation. And then, yeah, it happened again this time. Firmware update came out like a week or two ago, and the last few days, the connection has just been really slow. Looks like we have some bots in the chat. Sorry, everybody. Let's see. John Truelove, what do you say? Kettle moved to 1 week after hallucination and 3 weeks before ID. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Midwest Slam will be 300 milers in 5 weeks. Yeah. Kettle and what was it? Was it Kettle and Mohican were already scheduled to be 1 week apart this year because Kettle decided to move a week later. So that was already going to be pretty nuts anyway. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, as far as what am I doing this year, going back to that question again, Cruel Jewel is still like, if they move it, I'll do it. If it's in the fall and things are safe at that time. If they don't move it and decide to have it, I'm not going. Most likely, I'm going to guess they're going to cancel it because things in Georgia are getting pretty bad, and it seems like they're going to be bad for a while. Another one that I'm thinking about, Grindstone it's now in September, which I think it's September like 18th or something. So like all of these races are like in September now. But that's another Hardrock qualifier. And this is the big problem that I'm having is that this year is the year that I have to run another Hardrock qualifier to keep my name in the hat. Because Western States, you got to run a qualifier every year. So it's just like simple every year. Hardrock, you only have to run a qualifier every other year. Because your qualifier gets you basically 2 years worth of entries. So it's a little bit different in that way. And I did not run a qualifier for Hardrock last year because there's not that many. There's only like 8 or 10 in the US. So this was the year that I had to do it. So that's one reason why I picked Cruel Jewel. But yeah, if Cruel Jewel gets canceled, there's not that many. I mean, most of them are kind of like in the end of summer and fall, which is good. But if they don't come out and say anything about their qualifying situation, yeah, it's gonna be tough for a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of people signing up for those late Hardrock qualifiers. And it's gonna be hard to get into them. So I'm thinking about signing up for Grindstone just to put my name in there. and in case things clear up by September and it happens, then yeah, but I definitely do want to, I really want to do IT 100 this year, and I'm really trying to make that happen. Um, I've wanted to do it like the last 3 years, and things have just come up. Last year, the exact same weekend, I was out in Moab filming with Rob from Training for Ultra at the Moab 240. The year before that, I think it was like a couple weeks after I did Run Rabbit Run. The year before that, it was Grindstone that month. And then the year before that was the one where I actually was like volunteering and pacing and stuff. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. Yeah, exact situation. Register for all three of those situations. Temptations, kettle, and hennepin. And then, yeah, there's zero trail etiquette these days, just saying everyone is out on them who are never there. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Like, I mean, part of it is good. It's like awesome. Like all these people that are usually not outside are outside because they're so bored of being inside. Which is just hilarious because it's like when people have a lot of stuff to do, all they do is sit on their phones. And when they have nothing to do, they like go outside and get on the trails and like go walk and run, which is, I mean, it's awesome. Like, I'm not complaining about that. Like, everyone needs to go get outside, get some fresh air, exercise. But when when the trails are just clogged and everything, it's like frustrating for those of us that are like, it's a really important part of who we are and what we do. So yeah. Esteval Avilés. Sorry. But do you see running as an opportunity to be closer to God? I say that because there is not much talk. You can increase your personal relationship with God. Yeah, for sure. My relationship with God is a really important part of my life, and being out on the trails and running, it's just, a lot of times I just, pray, focus on things that are really important to me. But yeah, good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Seatown fan, any virtual races that you might organize? No, honestly, no. That's not like I know there's a lot of like YouTubers out there like doing this right now, and that's kind of like the thing to do. But that's not my thing. Like I'm not like I don't think I'm a race organizer. I'm thinking about jumping into the Aravaipa virtual run. I think that happens in it's like 2 weeks from now or something that happens. And the cool thing about the Aravaipa run is that you can do, you sign up for a distance and then you have a whole week to do that distance. And then you just like upload your Strava proof. And your cumulative time from the time you start the first mile to the time you finish is your race time. So if you want to sign up for the 100 miler, like you have a week to do a 100 miler, and I think they're sending out buckles, which is really cool. So I don't know. I was thinking about doing that. Like, I don't know if I have a 100-mile week in me in the next 2 weeks, but that would be pretty cool to get an Aravaipa Strong race buckle just for, running 100 miles over a week. Trail Runner Rossi, just came across your channel recently and wanted to say keep up with the good work. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Some people talking about man, okay, so Tiger King. I have not seen Tiger King, and I don't know if I should start it tonight. Like, let me know in the chat, because I've been seeing that everywhere on the internet. Yeah, Seatown fan. Yes, really enjoyed your perspective on the different ultras you've run. Very relatable. Thanks, man. That's really cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens this year. I am not really. I'm not really planning on being able to run any races, and because I don't know how long this thing is going to last. I mean, what I what I am going to do though is just be very, very grateful and thankful if anything is possible over the next 9 months, because this is just, we're in a place that, like we've never done any, like we've never been here, so we have no idea what to expect. Let's see here. Oh, it looks like the Suunto app just finished. So, I'll pull that off here. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what I think about some of these watches. So we'll start with just a few things that I'm going to say about Suunto. I've already said a few things about that, but I really like the Suunto 9 a lot. I think it's just a really solid watch. Like other than my 100 miler that the battery died early, that was the only like time I've been like super mad at this watch. The battery is advertised to last 24 hours in full GPS, full everything. But at the Mohican 100, it died after 19 hours. So that was pretty frustrating. But other than that, it's just been pretty rock solid. Like I've never had a bad GPS track. I've never had it like lose track of any of my connections. Like it works beautifully with the stride pod, which is something that you guys should all go check out if you're interested in really like improving your training. The stride pod is just a little pod that you clip on your shoe, and it gives a metric called power that you can train to. And power is it's just like if you know anybody that cycles, or if you cycle yourself and you have a power meter. I come from triathlon years ago, and so I had a power meter on my bike, and it's just an amazing way to train. So I really like the Suunto 9. Like it just immediately connected, like it found it and it works like flawlessly with it. The other cool thing about the Stride foot pod is that distance is recorded from the foot pod, so you get a much more accurate distance from your watch, because a lot of these watches GPS does kind of bounce around a little bit. It's just not as accurate. But Suunto is super easy to use. The app is not great. I pretty much never use the app aside from syncing the watch. It is a little bit slow getting up there to Strava, but recently it's actually been kind of getting better. Like it's not so bad recently. And a couple things I don't like about it. The screen, well, let's talk about this because it's on right now. The heart rate monitor is like super annoying. The watch is not on my wrist, and it hasn't been on my wrist for like 30 minutes, but yet the heart rate monitor turns on every 60 seconds and tries to get a reading, and it'll stay on for like 30 seconds if it can't find a reading, and then just shuts off. So like if you take your watch off and you put it down, these lights are going to light up like every 60 seconds. So wherever you put it, just know that. The other super weird thing about this is that you actually cannot turn it off. And I researched this on the internet. Like the watch does not turn off. You cannot turn it off. You can restart it and it comes right back on. So there was a while where when I got this Vertix and I started using it like as my daily watch, like the Suunto, like I just had to let it sit in a drawer and let it go down until the battery died, which is a super weird feature. Like I don't understand why you can't turn it off, because that seems like it could be a problem in a situation where like maybe, I don't know, you were going through like some sort of security something, and they were like, you need to turn all your electronics off, and you're like, well, I actually just cannot turn this watch off. Like they're gonna look at you like you're an idiot because they're like, you can't turn your watch off. But that was like just something super weird. Let's see. I got a couple notes because I knew that I would possibly not remember everything that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. The heart rate monitor on the back of the Suunto 9 is like really bad for the first like 5 or 10 minutes of your run, but then it actually does get pretty accurate after that. It's just kind of frustrating for the first couple minutes when it's telling you that you're like at 180 beats a minute and you're like, no, I'm warming up. And that does kind of affect, like if you're using Training Peaks or Strava and you're really relying on those stress scores, if those stress scores are based a lot off of your heart rate, it's going to affect that, and you're going to be getting some kind of like whacked out training numbers. The other thing that I don't like about the hardware, and there's not many things that I don't like about the hardware, it's a super thick watch, like it's big, and so I knock it into things a lot. Like it's just weird having like that much watch on your wrist. And then the lack of a light button is a big deal. The top button, if you press it, it immediately goes into exercise. The middle button starts changing what's on the screen, and the bottom button goes to your heart rate when you hit it. So there's no light button. So if you're in the dark and you need to see the time, no matter what button you hit, you're going to get about half a second of the time, and then it's going to switch to some other screen. So that's a major flaw, and it's never been corrected. Something that's super annoying. And that's why I just really like the Garmin watches that have 5 buttons. Like it's just really intuitive, like on the Phoenix. Touchscreen on the Suunto 9 is not good. Like I never use it. Watches, if you're not an Apple Watch, like you shouldn't have a touchscreen on your phone or a touchscreen on your watch. I don't know. I've never used like an Android watch or anything like that, but yeah, if you're not Apple, you're probably not going to be able to do it right. So just don't try it. Like when I'm, and this is like, so if you're in like the shower or the pool or anything like that, where water is going to be on this, and you get a text message or you get any type of notification from your phone, it's going to light up, and then it's just going to start pressing random stuff. It's going to start going through all your other notifications. Like you cannot turn the light off. It's just, that's pretty annoying. But I really don't want to hate on the Suunto 9 very much because it's actually a really, really good watch. There's just a few things about it that are just weird, kind of quirky. The watch is a really great watch. Yeah. Okay, that's it on the Suunto. Does anybody have any questions on the Suunto? Wow, bunch of comments just came in. Let's see here. Dan, you should start it tonight. Yeah, this Air Viper run, maybe. K Dean, definitely start it tonight. Okay, maybe I just need to go for a run. Seatown fan, 40% grade 1 mile treadmill challenge. Yeah, I saw Jamil put a video out on that. I haven't been able to watch it yet. But if NordTrack wants to send me a treadmill, I'll do the 40% 1 mile challenge, but I do not have $2,000 to drop on a treadmill. Sorry. But yeah, that would be awesome. Trail Runner Rossi, I'm based in Ireland, pal. Out of all the races you have done, which is your favorite and why? I mean, the race that comes to my mind like immediately is Run Rabbit Run. That is just out there in Colorado, like just absolutely beautiful. Just epic course, epic mountains. Like it's beautiful. Very hard. It's also a Hardrock qualifier. Really great people that run that race, as far as I know. Like I don't follow it or anything, but the year that I did it, 2 years ago, It was just, I mean, it's beautiful. It's Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So it's like it starts and finishes at a ski resort. It's in September. Like the weather's nice and cool. The leaves are changing to yellow. Like it's just an epic race. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Uh, what's up, Dave? Chase the summit. But when will Suunto get full mapping on their watches? I don't know. Honestly, I don't. So the mapping functionality, I used it like once or twice as a gimmick, kind of. I just like loaded in a route and followed it. I think if I was doing something like an FKT or something, which maybe I should talk about that. I think maybe if I was doing something like that, I would use it, but then I would also be really scared of the battery dying quicker. So I'd probably like use my phone for mapping functionality as much as I could, unless the Coros Vertix could get a really solid mapping functionality, be able to follow routes and everything. Like they kind of like everybody does it kind of like halfway. As far as I know, the watches that I have, none of them are like really that great. Dan Darling, what chest strap heart rate monitor would you recommend? Looking to get one, but I don't know how or if they will sync to Coros or Strava. Okay. The one I recommend is the Polar H10. I believe it's H10. It's just rock solid. It's amazing. The strap is really comfortable. It's got like rubber grips like around the side and the back, so it doesn't. It slips around until you start sweating, and then it's pretty much like pretty solid. It connects like immediately to anything because it's got Ant Plus and Bluetooth. So I just have it paired with all my watches, and I wear it on pretty much every run now. I also use this app called in the mornings Elite HRV. And it's not the prettiest app in the world. it just kind of like looks like this. But I do this thing called morning readiness, which measures my HRV, heart rate variability, and I track that over time to see like if I'm getting sick or how my training's going. If my training load has been building and building and building, my heart rate variability will basically confirm whether or not I need to take a rest day or take a day. Not a rest day because I'm running every day, but like take a day a little bit more chill or be able to like really push myself on a certain day. So I used the Polar H10 every morning. I still do. It's the first thing I do. I get up and I put the chest rate strap on and I open up this app and I do morning readiness. It's a 2-minute test. It reads your heart rate and it measures the time in between the beats and probably some other things. But then it gives you a score at the end and it gives you a little summary. It says like based off of, it keeps track. So it says like based off of the last couple days, sounds like you're ready to go. Like you can really push your workout hard today, or it sounds like maybe you need to take a step back and just do an easy day. And then I also track it in an Excel doc or Google Sheets. And I actually got this document from another YouTuber named Triathlon Terran. If you guys are into finding new YouTube channels that you like, go check out Triathlon Terran. He's pretty cool. And I don't know if he created this spreadsheet or if he just like stole it, but he posted a link to it on one of his videos, and it allows you to also track, and then it gives you like color coded things, and there's a chart. So I don't know how did I get on that tangent. Oh yeah, the Polar chest rate strap. That is what I would recommend. It's not very expensive. It's a good investment. The battery will last you like a year before you have to change the battery out. Just a solid heart rate strap. I know there's others out there, like Polar makes a optical one as well that goes around your arm. That looks pretty cool too. For me, chest rate strap works. Um, and I just like having the most accurate data I can, because then I can make better judgments on my training. So there you go. That's the chest rate strap that I would recommend. Both of the heart rate monitors on the back of these watches are pretty bad. Like if I was going to rate one over the other, I would say Suunto is much better than the Coros. Yeah, let's talk about the Coros Vertix for a few minutes, maybe. This watch is I have a strong love-hate relationship with this watch. There's a lot of things about it that I love. And it's a very the hardware is really nice. It's a really light watch. It feels really good on your wrist. The dial, they actually they did it right. Like it works really well. Like it's a lot like, I don't know if you guys is it in focus. It's very much like the Apple Watch dial crown. Why I keep calling it. It's and it's just like the hardware is solid. Like it's really good. Like the screen is pretty easy to read. During like normal wearing. I wish it had better contrast during a workout mode, because the contrast actually I think that's one of the ways that they where one of the reasons why the battery lasts so long is because the contrast is really low while you're working out. And so in certain situations, it's really hard to read the screen, and you actually almost have to stop and kind of concentrate a little bit more on it. And it's just, yeah, there's a lot of so I'll say the battery life is amazing too. I'll stay positive for now. The battery life is amazing. Hands down, that's the first thing that you notice. If you run maybe an hour a day or something, you're not going to have to charge it for a couple weeks. It'll be a couple weeks before you have to charge it. I think I made it a full 100 miles of running before I actually had to charge it. And then I made it another 100 miles before I had to charge it again. I've got, in the app, it says I have run, just to give you guys a little context. I don't think there's any private information on here, but in the app right here, it says, over here, it says I've run 284 miles with it, 284.71. So I do have, I think, enough experience with this watch to have opinions about it. I don't really like reviews of things where it's someone's I've had this watch for a few days or a week or something, and here's my full review on it. I actually have used this watch quite a bit. Let's see. Did I say everything I like about it? Yeah, we'll just keep going. Things that I'm not super. Oh, another thing I like, it syncs very fast. The app, is basically as soon as you come in range of the app, it's bam, your workout is on the app, and then it's immediately on Strava. You almost don't have time to do anything. It's so fast. Yeah, did I mention battery life? That's amazing. I know I mentioned it. I was being sarcastic. But yeah, in order to get that amazing battery life, they cut a lot of corners, in my opinion. And there's just a lot of things that are just either halfway there or just kind of annoying. And the biggest thing is that the heart rate monitor on the back is pretty much worthless. And I'm just going to say that because as a coach myself, I have told any of my athletes that have Coros, I was you have to get another heart rate strap or a different monitor, because, or I mean, I'm not going to make you, you don't have to, but I'm not going to be able to coach you as well as I can if you had accurate heart rate. Like the heart rate is just like, it's an awful heart rate monitor. And if you go to like DC Rainmaker's website or any other people that actually know what they're talking about, like the heart rate monitor is not meant for athletic use. It's meant for other uses. And so when you get to that like 150 beats per minute, 160 beats per minute, it just gets horribly inaccurate, and it'll start showing you kind of all different data. And you can verify that, like if you use two heart rate monitors. Like if you had one watch, and I've done this, I've actually made this review video twice on this Coros Vertix, and I've deleted it both times because I just didn't want to post something. I wanted to give him another chance, basically, and so I kept using it and kept using it. I don't know if I'll ever post an actual review video on it because I don't really like being like super negative about things. You know, also, I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I just use it a lot. And so I want my, reviews and thoughts and everything to be more user based and everything. I'm not like a tech person. But pairing it with an external heart rate monitor really helps a lot. And that'll also that'll save battery life too, because it doesn't have to use any battery life to power the heart rate monitor. But that's one of the ways that I think they get this incredible battery life is they're not sending enough power to the heart rate monitor. Maybe it's just a super low power monitor. Maybe like I said, like I don't think it's meant for athletics. But that's one of the ways they get around it. The other is the screen. The contrast is super low, and it's super, like, it's not bright at all. So when you're outside during the day, it's not the easiest watch to see in the world. So that helps the battery life quite a bit. But yeah, the heart rate monitor is a big thing. Like if you're buying I think this watch is $600. So if you're paying $600 for a watch, like it better like have like a baseline usability on one of the main parts of it, which is like monitoring your heart rate, as far as I'm concerned. Interval workouts, just don't even try them like with the heart rate monitor. It's not going to help. The data afterwards is useless. And that's me speaking as a coach, like looking at my own data, comparing it, looking at athletes' data. There's just, the one thing also, it's like, it was really hard for me to find in the watch how to view past workouts. So that was like really annoying for a while until I actually found it. And it's in a really, in my opinion, weird place. You have to go into, whatever this menu is called, and then you scroll through to this place that is called, did they take it away? It's called like AI Trainer. Oh no, you actually like start. So you would go to like start a workout, and then you go to this AI Trainer. I don't know what they were going for there, but it shows you basically your battery life, or not your battery life, but your body battery is what I think they call it. And then from there, you can scroll through and get your past workouts, and you can see some of the data there from that. But it was really hard to find, and I don't necessarily, AI Trainer, I don't know what they were going for there. The other thing that I don't like about this watch, and then I'll go into some questions that we got and some comments that have been really coming in quick recently. It does not connect to a lot of accessories out there. Why do I keep saying accessories? They're like tools. So like they sell their own Coros pod that goes on the back of your shorts. And that gives you like better cadence data. It gives you some metrics as far as like your running form, ground contact time, left-right balance, vertical oscillation, lots of different metrics that can be really useful. But it's a pod that goes on the back of your shorts. So it's, there's other companies that have tried that and abandoned that because it's just not a good place to get metrics like that. And then it tries to give you, well, it's good. It's a good place to get like your left, right balance, vertical oscillation, things like that. But the main thing that they advertise with the Coros pod is that you can now track your running power, and this is one of my big problems with this whole ecosystem at this point, is that they're calling this power, but it's not power. And it's just like, and I don't even like, I used the Coros pod for a couple weeks, and then I just sent it back because I was so frustrated with it, because it just basically gave an estimate of, as far as I could tell, how much the pod was bouncing. And then it threw a number out there, and it put watts at the end of it, and they called it power, but it's not power. It was just like, that's really frustrating. And like, if you guys want me to kind of like explain that more, like I can go more in depth on that. But I just had a big problem with the company calling that data metric power when it isn't. Power is basically like how much force you're putting into was it force equals mass times acceleration. So it's like your watts, like when a bike displays how many watts you're cranking out, it's because it's measuring at the crank arm how much force is being put on that, and then how fast the pedals are spinning, your cadence. So force equals mass times acceleration. So how hard are you pressing on the pedal, and how fast are you pushing it? And so in running, there's really not a perfect way to give you a power metric like there is in cycling, because cycling, you're using a machine basically, and you can measure resistance on a crank much easier than you can measure resistance on a shoe or anything like that. And so when you have a pod sitting on the back of your shorts, it's like, the thing that would make me most frustrated is that I would be running on flat ground, and I'd be running at like a decent clip, and it would give me a certain number, like maybe 400 or something, 400 watts, which, what is that? Compare that to what? Like, who knows? But it was just, so 400 watts running on flat ground. And then I would start going uphill, and I would keep my cadence the same. My pace would go down a little bit because I'm going uphill, and my watts would drop like in half. And it was just incredibly obvious that it was just only measuring basically how much the pod was bouncing. So that's why, like, it's not giving you a power reading. If you use the Stride pod, like that, actually there's a lot more. I think that company behind that is doing a lot better job with research and implementation. It's a pod that actually goes on your shoe, so it's got a lot more data that it can pick up as far as like how much your foot is moving. It's also got a sensor on it that senses wind, so it adds that into the whole equation. If you're running into a headwind, it factors that in there. And so it's a much more accurate, and probably the most accurate way we have to track power with running currently. So sorry if people were bored with that. I just get really worked up with data and all that kind of stuff. And so that was kind of like one of my big things that I wasn't happy with, the way the company decided to roll that out and advertise that. Yeah. Also, it gave you a power reading of 0 when you were walking, which is not accurate. Obviously, it takes power to walk. But that just threw stuff off like really bad. Like if you're doing, like say you were doing like intervals or something, like just, yeah. So that is, oh, the other thing, and I don't know if maybe this update maybe fixed this, but it also didn't send power information over to Strava at the time I had it, which was kind of frustrating. But okay, let's get into some more questions. Oh, sweet. Wow, check this out. Ewan, super chat, $5. Thank you, man. Hey man, love your channel. Really appreciate all the great work you've been doing recently. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Ewan. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks. It's really cool to hear stuff like that. Because yeah, I love doing this YouTube stuff and making videos and talking to you guys. And when I get comments back and just encouragement like that, like it's just super cool to see that this is making a difference. So thank you very much. Seatown fan, don't judge me. I have a Fitbit Ionic. I'm not judging anybody. From what I know, Fitbit, nothing wrong with it. Danny, let's see. This is a long one. Did Suunto ever add the wake up gesture? I asked them some years ago when I had the Spartan Sport, though my watch was broken. They said they will look into it. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Wake up gesture, like for sleep tracking. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. What's up? Chase the Summit. The return to start with mapping is pretty sweet. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. If you were doing some, like, if I was doing more like outdoor adventures, things like that, I would probably use the mapping feature more, I guess. Gabby's KG. Why didn't I run the backyard ultra? Okay, yeah. So I didn't know about this. All of a sudden yesterday I started seeing all this stuff on the internet about backyard ultras. I'm like, what the heck is this? And apparently there was like hundreds of people running like 4 miles every hour on the hour, which I have done a race like that. That's super fun. I did this race in Illinois called the Painful Elimination, and it was a trail race, and it was like a 4.18 mile loop, and everybody started on the hour every hour, and if you couldn't continue, you were out. I've done a race like that, and it was actually, that race was 6 weeks before Grindstone 100, and it was 2 weeks before a 50 miler. So I went into that race, Painful Elimination, planning to run 50K, and I ran 50K, and then I just stopped and went home. What's up, John? Miles in those 100 days. Sorry, just joined. Yeah, good question. I didn't put that in the video that I posted because I don't know. It just kind of seemed, I just left it out. But I ran, it was just over 700 miles in 100 days. So average of a little over 7 miles a day. Goku Runner. I have an old Garmin chest strap. I'm doubting if it's still good. I figure if they're accurately inaccurate, I keep it to my training, it'll be fine. Yeah. As far as I know, like chest straps are pretty like the technology, like it hasn't changed much in a long time. They're low power. They don't need a whole lot. As far as I know, like most of them just work fine. I know nowadays they do have more features like being able to connect to like and Bluetooth at the same time, multiple connections, things like that. They've got things like the Polar H10 has the HRV capability, EKG, all that. So like the newer ones have better features, but I think an old one probably worked just fine. Guy Smith, I really like my Garmin Forerunner 235 that I've had for 2 years, and I'm thinking about getting a Polar watch. Any experience with Polar? No, I don't have any experience actually wearing a Polar. I know that a lot of people, so a couple YouTubers I do follow wear Polars, and I'm pretty sure they're like decently happy with them. I know that like every watch is going to have its things that are good and bad about it. Um, and for the most part, you kind of pay for what you get. Um, Certain brands like Garmin are a little overpriced. Certain other brands like this Coros Vertix is overpriced. I think Suuntos they're really solid price right now. I think you can get the Suunto 9 for, I don't know. I posted a link in the description of this video to both these watches because I knew I'd be talking about them. I think the Suunto, I don't want to throw a number out there without knowing, but go check that link out. The Suunto 9 is a very fair price right now. And I don't think anybody's going to be coming out with new watches anytime soon this year. Maybe if they had slated something for early summer, they might still come out with it. But I think everything is pretty much pushed for a while. Okay, so let's see here. Before I forget, thank you everybody for watching and asking questions. This is awesome. There are a few questions that I have from social media. I posted a story earlier today. Got a couple questions. Let's see here. How do you get to that? How the heck do you get to that? Okay. So it's on Instagram. TrailDog92 says, which one have you noticed having the best battery life? Coros Vertix, for sure. The battery life on the Coros watches are just amazing. Like I said, I believe that they're doing things with the data and with the hardware where they're making that possible because they're not just like superior batteries. Like it's just the way the watches are designed. You know, they're doing some crazy stuff with their software and with the sensors that are making the battery life just outstanding. Like it seriously is. Like nothing comes close. What do you think about the news? Okay, so this is Mini Me Runs on Instagram. What do you think about the new Suunto 9? Good idea. No, sorry, Suunto 7. What do you think about the Suunto 7? Good idea, question mark. I would not get the Suunto 7. The only reason why I would get it is if really all you wanted was a like daily like fitness or like a watch. Like if you were out there shopping for Fitbits or for, and like not like an actual GPS watch, but like one of those really thin Fitbits. Like if you're out shopping for one of those and you saw a Suunto 9, you were like, oh, that looks really cool. And maybe I'll use the GPS and things like that. Then that's when I would get it. But I wouldn't get it if you already have a GPS watch and you're looking to upgrade, because everything I've read about it is that it's just not meant for someone who's going to be wanting to, like, from what I've read about it is that it's like the Apple Watch is even much better than it as far as like its workout functionality and everything. But I'm going to defer to DC Rainmaker for that. But for me, it's not a watch that I would get. It's a couple $100 and it's basically just like it's Android only. I don't think it even works with an iPhone. Woods Runner 21. What's up, man? Me and him ran Run Rabbit Run together. Not together, but we ran the same year. Do either of these watches charge on the run? And the answer is yes. Both of them do. My Suunto 9, it's kind of awkward because I wear my watch on my left hand, and so So if you picture that, here's the watch. Say it's on my left hand. If it went, so like if the cord came like that, it would be like really nice because it would just go like straight up my arm, and I could like wrap it around or whatever, put the battery pack like somewhere. But it only connects like this. And so when it does that, it sticks out, the cord sticks out forward, like down your hand, and then you kind of have to like wrap it back. But you can still wear it on your wrist. And so that's what I did for Hallucination 100 that I did in September. It was I just, in the middle of the night, like I just grabbed a USB battery pack, just a little small one, just a little tiny one, and plugged it in through the battery pack. I think I put it in like my side pouch right here, and I just kind of like wrapped the cord around my arm a few times. And it was the middle of the night, so I wasn't like doing crazy like sprints or anything. It didn't matter like having a cord right here, and just charged it for a couple hours, got it back up to 100%, tossed the cord and the battery in my next drop bag, and the battery lasted the whole time. So that's what I did with the Suunto 9 at the Hallucination 100. Let's see. Anybody on Facebook ask any questions? Oh, Dave Dillon asked a question. But can you play games on them? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not the right person to ask about video games. All right, guys. So let's see here. Did I hit everything? Let me check my list. So I think I hit everything that I wanted to hit in this live stream. Updated both of my watches. Like, I'll report back later about if there was anything crazy. The update to the Coros Vertix did have a lot, and I'll just read through it real quick. They added one thing that is kind of cool, is a nutrition timer during your activities. So you can have it ding you, I guess, give you a notification every like 30, 40, 60 minutes, whatever you want. And I don't know if it probably gives you a message that says like eat or nutrition or something like that. But that could be useful. Because I know during my ultras, like that's constantly like a game I'm playing in my head, like trying to remember when was the last time I had a gel. So that's a really cool feature. This is just like funny. It adds Bluetooth support for heart rate broadcast feature. So like if you want to broadcast your heart rate from the watch to another device, you can do that. But that would be a terrible idea because the heart rate monitor is worthless on it. And then a few navigation features for multisport and ski touring modes. Like they're doing a lot of updates for like the skiing sports from what I've seen recently. And not a whole lot else on here. A few other customizations for workout modes can be rearranged in the watch. Like that's another thing, like the customization of the watch faces, like during workouts and everything, never really did exactly, like it always like kind of did what I wanted to do, but there was like every once in a while, like there was a place where I'm like, I really want this piece of data like here, but it was just like not available, which was kind of weird. Yeah. Anaerobic running Fitbit over Suunto 7. I don't know, maybe. Like, I don't know. Did I accidentally say that? Ewan, how many miles do you usually put on your shoes before you stop using them? Good question. I am in a situation where, so I am on the Ultra Red team, so I get like pretty good deals on shoes, and they send me some free ones too, every once in a while. So, I probably put less miles on my shoes than maybe a lot of people do. whenever I get to 200 miles on a pair of shoes, I start working them out of the rotation, and I never take anything past 250. And if I do, it's because of like, maybe it's like, like I want to go do a super sloppy run or something in some trails, and maybe I'll just wear a really old pair of shoes or something like that because I don't want to clean them, and then I'll just like, just let them sit or whatever. But yeah, I usually take them. I usually don't take them past 250, and then I donate them so they can be used by somebody else. But I have a couple. I have a couple bags of shoes that I need to go donate as we speak. But yeah, so like I usually have like maybe like 2 pairs of trail shoes and 2 pairs of road shoes, maybe 3, that I kind of work through like throughout the week. Currently, I've got a pair of Ultra Torrens 4.5s. Those are my main road shoes. I've got a pair of the Ultra Vihos that I wear on the road a lot. A couple pairs of Torrens that I cycle through. I try not to. I mean, I do a lot of times wear shoes back-to-back days, but it is best, from what I've heard, to give shoes like 48 hours or so. That's about the time that the soles need to kind of like fully recover from a run, depending on how hard your run was. So I would love to be able to, wear shoes like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, wear a pair of shoes, and then Tuesday, Thursday, wear a different pair. That's the goal. Sometimes it doesn't happen because I just like keep wearing the same one every day. But on the trail, this year, I've been using the Lone Peaks a lot, and what else? Yeah, the Lone Peaks and the Olympus every once in a while, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a couple other pairs that I've been wearing, but mainly it's the Lone Peaks on the trail, Superior every once in a while. But yeah, that's what I do. Just keep them in the rotation, just keep them going. Usually 200 to 250 miles, and then I donate them. So that's it. I'm going to, if nobody else has any other questions or anything, I'm going to stop this. It's getting late for everybody on the East Coast. Those of you out west, or maybe if you're in another country or something. Someone in here, who was that? Rosie. Yeah, you're from Ireland. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for joining. This was really fun. I don't know. I'll try and think of maybe some, topics for other live streams. I'd like to be doing this more often now that my setup is good to go and everything just works. So yeah, that's where I'm going to stop this. Thanks for joining. Come back again next time. Give me a thumbs up if you got a notification. Because I did not do very much notice on this one, and I'm interested to see if anybody got notifications, because I think there was like maybe a 20-minute window from when I told YouTube I was going to go live to the point when I did. I'd love to be able to schedule these out, a day or two in advance, so that more people would get notifications and be able to join. But oh, there we go, a couple thumbs up. Oh, we got another last question. Austin White, how many days will you try to go for your streak? Another good question. I'm not sure. At this point, like, I thought about just not running yesterday and just like stopping it at 100 so that it like wasn't a thing anymore, and I could just run for fun. And like, I kind of joke about that, but it is only for fun. Like, if I don't want to run tomorrow, like, I just won't run. But I've gotten to the point where it's just like so natural that every day is just like, okay, when am I gonna run? And I don't know, it would be fun to do a year. 365 days would be cool. I don't know. Steven Sue, I got a notification. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I just got a bunch of thumbs up. So that's cool. Notifications worked. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks guys for joining. That's it. I will see you guys again soon. I have a video coming out tomorrow morning. And this one is a really short one, but it's just about like things that I use here at home when I'm working at home, like little tools like balance board and things like that, to help keep me sane when I'm working at home, standing up, and then also help with like my ankles and stuff like that. But yeah, Will the Beast, I got a notification, but well after you started. Shoot. All right, well, I will try to schedule these out further in advance so that when people get notifications, like they'll have time. But that's it. Thanks for joining. I will see you guys again soon. Bye.